Hello, hello. Okay. Okay. Couple of people here already. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Decoded by Fashfied. Can you put in the chat and tell me where you're watching from? I would love to know. Just put in the chat. Tell me your name and where you're watching from. I want to know. I'm not seeing anyone in the chat, so um, So forgive me in case you see me drinking tea or something. I have a little cold, but I decided that this must still hold. So yeah, I'll be taking some tea a little bit just to soften my throat. Okay, since nobody wants to hang out with me in the chat, so I'll just begin. Can you hear me clearly? Please let me know if you can hear me. Um, if you can hear me clearly, just let me know. Or if you can't hear me, just let me know so that I'd stop and then I'd begin to check what's up. Okay. So this is Coded Fashfied Studios, and this is the Hanifa edition. And just a quick rundown of what Decoded by Fashfied is all about. I already explained that this is a show where we just hang out as fashion creators and just look at what successful fashion brands are doing and how you can also put that into your own business, into your own brand and succeed. So today we're decoding Hanifa. Um, so yeah, Hanifa, if you know anything about the fashion show that stopped the internet in 2020, that was Hanifa. It became the groundbreaking fashion show of that year. And in my own opinion, one of the most innovative one in recent histories. And so today we're going to go into the nitty-gritties of what that brand did, what they were able to achieve so that we can see lessons, strategies, structures, and everything they did that we can put into our own businesses. So yeah, and I would like to start by saying that, what separates a beautiful collection from, I don't know, um, a brand that lasts is actually structure. And I know uh, structure might not be the most sexiest word out there, but it is, the truth is, every fashion brand that you admire did not get there because they were lucky. They got there because they were strategic. And so today we're going to look at Anifa. So Anifa, in 2020, as I mentioned earlier, they had a 3D fashion show. There was no models, there was no run, and that broke the internet. Um, but this is what a lot of people miss about that whole event is the fact that it was a matter of structure meeting opportunity, right? I read through the story of Anifa and I found out that, there was a lot of intentionality that was put into all of that structure. So I would like you to grab your notebook because we are getting into it right now. So the first part of this whole conversation is the foundation, right? Why Hanifa worked before it went viral. So this is just to make you know that actually the moment they got viral was not the moment they started doing stuff. In fact, they had existed even before then. So before we talk about the iconic 3D show and all of that, we need to talk about what came before it, right? Because the foundation of that visibility, there was actually some work that happened before that visibility came, right? So Anifa Vuemba, that's the name of the founder. she started the brand because she wanted to create for women that looked like her, right? So she felt that I want to create a brand for women that look like me. She always wanted to get stuff, but she wasn't getting what she really wanted, and so she decided that, you know what, I'm going to create a brand for people that look like me. And so that became the mission of the brand, right? So, why does that even matter? You may ask. The truth is, great brands actually happen first from a personal perspective before they get profitable, right? So let's just say great brands are personal first before they are profitable. So what Hanifa did, she put herself in that problem, right? She said, okay, I need to fill a gap. I need to solve a problem. So that was where the whole business emanated from. So most designers start by asking, okay, what's in gold? What can I make? What are people wearing? And then what can I sell? But actually, Hanifa started by saying, who am I designing for? So she first of all looked at the persona, the persons that she was going to design for, and then she went at it, right? So that's just the difference between a brand that will actually last and a brand that's just here for the now. If you're here for the money is good, but if you're here for just the money, then legacy may not really be in your heart. And so, you know, building something that lasts may not really be in the future. So, number one action step is define your mission, right? Define the mission of your brand. What is your brand here to do? And I like to give this, simple formula to get that done. I design for X because X. So, for example, can look like I design for ambitious African women because they deserve to be seen, you know. So now whatever you design would um, really focus on showing the woman because you want her to be seen, right? So as you're watching this, I want you to write down on a sheet of paper, I design for X, whoever you're trying to design for, and then your because. Why are you designing for these people, right? So that's the first lesson in this part of our conversation. Now, after you have um, who you're designing for, next thing you want to look at is the breakthrough, like where Hanifa just blew, like we say in Nigeria, when someone goes viral or when somebody gets very well known in Nigeria, we say the person blew. So now when you look at the moment where she blew. So if you're following, please could you just put that in the chat? Let me see. Anybody who has successfully written down their mission. Okay. Anyway, we'll go on, right? Go on. So now the breakthrough, that moment where she went viral. So now picture this, right? This is May 2020. The whole world is on lockdown. Fashion weeks cancelled. All the runways are now empty. You know, nobody is doing anything because we're all inside our houses, trying to survive, trying to run away from COVID. And here is Hanifa who says, you know what? I am going to drop a 3D digital fashion show on Instagram. No models, no physical locations, just clothes floating in the air, literally. And it went viral. Now, that was very, very impressive. But I also need you to understand that that was not luck. It was not, oh, okay, now we're at home, nobody was doing anything, and so, she just had her fun. No, that was not really what happened. It was because opportunity met her readiness, right? She was ready, and then that opportunity all came together, and she was able to put out what she did. The timing was great, the positioning was great, and the storytelling was also perfect. So breaking it down, we see that Hanifa moved from okay, everybody is pausing, everybody's trying to reflect on their life, the whole industry is panicking, everybody's like, okay, are we ever going to come out? Are we ever going to do anything? But instead of Hanifa to join everyone to say, okay, yes, what's going on, what's going on, they decided that, you know what, there's no wrong way, we'll create our own. And then, boom, hits us with flowing garments. That was awesome, right? So the visibility lesson here is visibility often belongs to people who adapt the fastest and not those who are necessarily the loudest. You know, at that time, a lot of people were still thinking of how to find their way around, but we saw a very great lesson from Anifa start, starting to move when others were pausing, right? So in business, the fastest people actually win, right? So, my question for you right now is: do you see any vacuum in the fashion industry currently? And do you think you have a, do you think you have a solution, you know, to this vacuum? You know, to fill. If you see a vacuum, fill it. That's maybe where your flowing or your visibility or your viral events will come from. You know. So secondly, we see positioning, right? She led a conversation and that was 3D fashion show. This was something that was not yet popular at that point because people were still trying to figure out the world was panicking. You know, people were still trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? What are we not going to do? And all of that. And she said, you know what? I'll show you the future. And then boom, she comes up with a sweet fashion show. And so innovation, right? That was very innovative on their own side. So I mean, I always say that let's stop trying to show that we deserve um, to make things happen. Let's just make let's just make it happen, right? And if I wasn't struggling to show people that, hey, please, I'm a fashion designer, come and buy my stuff. And she was like, okay, show you people how this thing is being done. And I was listening to her story. She said she actually started creating the 3D stuff by herself. And we got to a point where she needed more capable hands, and then she went for that. But I mean, that just shows someone who's um, innovative, someone who's ready to get things done by themselves and not waiting for anybody to come and save them. You know. Thirdly, another thing we need to look at is storytelling of that collection, right? It was floating, but even though it was floating, it had the look and feel of a real person. You could see the clothes folded, human, invisible human structures, and all of that just created to the whole emotional connection that came with that with that show. And so it was able to go like really, really viral. So the second action step I would like to give on this whole visibility moment is, you know, this month, this week, decide that I want to post something that should get attention. You know, it's always great to the right kind of attention. So, what attention? You don't need to create another 3D fashion show, of course, that has been done. But is there a way you can make it better? Is there anything you see that you can do to make your the way you show yourself to your customers or to audiences generally um, very unique? So you could ask yourself, what story am I telling? Right? What is the platform I'm going to use for this story, and what emotion do I want people to have seeing all of this? And once you answer these three questions, ask the questions again. What story am I telling? Platform would make sense. There's some things that you put on LinkedIn that might not really make sense there, but would be great for Instagram. And then there's some things you put on Instagram that it would, this is better off on LinkedIn. So what is the platform that makes more sense to put this stuff? And then finally, what emotion do I want people to have, interacting with this content? Once you hit the nail on the head, my guys, execute. Don't even overthink it. Okay, execute, move, because it is better to bravely move than to sit down waiting for perfection. At the end of the day, um, I believe that if Hanifa would want to make another 3D fashion show today, it would definitely be better than what she did in 2020. But the truth of the matter is, she moved at the time she did, and that put the attention on, it did. So, what are you afraid of? Execute, move. Okay, all right. Now, the third part of our decode is the structure of the brand Hanifa. Here we're looking at how they scaled their growth, without breaking themselves. Again, another picture. Uh, 2020, the world was on lockdown. They created the most innovative fashion show of the modern fashion world, of modern fashion history. And they got all the attention. Everybody was talking about them. Everybody was sending posts. Everybody was posting about them. Vogue was interviewing. All the big media guys were shining touchlight on them. I tell you, what some people would have done at that point is, okay, let's start hiring. Let's get more people. Let's get in. Um, let's create more stuff. Let's get in more people. But we're going to see how they used wisdom in structure to scale, right? Now, um, going viral, I put on Instagram recently, it's very easy. It's very easy to go viral, especially today with the internet and all the media stuff that we have. It's very easy to go viral. But staying visible, that's why we have a lot of one-hit wonders on internet today, because going viral is very easy, but there is a structure that is required to stay visible for a long period of time. And since 2020 up till today, Hanifa has maintained that visibility. And so, as I was saying, after the 3D fashion show, she could have panicked. She could have hired, I don't know, 20 people. She could have opened a big factory and tried to meet up with every demand that was coming. But she didn't. She scaled intentionally. And how did she do it? I'll show you. Number one, they had a controlled growth. What does that mean? They did a pre-order they produced based on pre-order rather than a mass production, like a lot of fashion houses, So um, this means no wasted inventory. This means only real demand was going to be created. And so this maintained the quality over time. And, anytime, any day, quality will always be better than quantity, you know. And so this was where they played in, right? Now, what is the lesson here for us? Scaling might not necessarily mean having more staff, having a bigger factory, or opening multiple stores. It might just mean putting in smarter structures to help your business grow. So, picking these from Hanifa, here is an action step up to give. I mean, depending on the level on which you are in your business, uh, introduce pre-order or do a capsule drop, this week, and um, choose maybe 3 to 5 of the hero products and push them online and see the reaction of your audience. And then that would inform you whether to focus on them a little more and push it, or you know move on to the next thing. That is a very strong way to do your own research in such a way that know what your audience need and what they do not need, right? So, um, train your audience to ask fast as well. If you bring out a hero product and you see that people are liking it, use urgency. Three more products available, 10 more available, this print, only 5 pieces. This way, people get to act faster and then, they're able to buy. So it will help you reduce waste. It will help protect your cash flow so that you're not tying down money on stock that are not, selling out immediately. And then of course, it will help build anticipation for your audience, right? So, secondly, another thing Anifa did was a lean team. They worked with a lean team. And what that means is she didn't go ahead to hire 50 new people or 20 new people. What she did was she built a very cross functional crew. You know, People wearing multiple hats and then supported by freelancers, of course. And listening to her story, she mentioned how her sister had to come work with her. Well, a lot of people have, the hey, I don't want family into business and all of that kind of stuff, right? There was that part too, but she had a sister who understood her vision, who took it on and changed how everything went in the business. And this is telling me that, you know, the founder of Hanifa was able to sell the vision of the brand to the people they worked with. And so it was easy for everybody to bring in their A game. So as a founder, if you're able to sell the vision of your business to your coworkers, of course, bad ones will still be bad, but if you're able to make people see why they should even care about your business, they'll be willing to put in their all to get you from point A to point B because they are clear. They know where they are going, right? So, yeah, back to Anifa, we're able to, um, manage their teams and deliver over time, right? So maybe you're asking yourself, what processes drain me that somebody else can own sustainably, right? The first thing I would say to you is define the roles and not the title. So, for example, and this is in terms of bringing in people, right? So, maybe for example, currently I know of creatives or fashion founders who say, you see anything content, anything brainstorming about what to post, I don't like it. If this is you, uh, instead of saying, oh, I'm looking for a brand manager, you find somebody who can you define that, okay, I'm looking for somebody who will just schedule the content, or content creation, somebody that will create the content, schedule it, and post it. Or do you need somebody to respond to DMs? Do you need somebody to track your inventories? Do you need somebody to speak to customers who are angry or to fulfill orders? It's always very great to properly define what you're bringing in people to come and do so that they are not confused. Okay, so, yeah, build your team around functions, not around ego. Don't bring in somebody and say you are general manager. The real sense of the person to is to, I don't know, maybe manage your budget, right? Bring in somebody and say, oh, you are the director of content when all you need the person to do is to schedule content for your Instagram, post it when you need to, and then just be a community manager to your audience. Right? So um, build a team around function. Now, thirdly, um, outsource what doesn't need to be in-house, right? Looking at the story of Hanifa, she worked with a trusted manufacturing partner. She worked with 3D artists. She worked with photographers, stylists. She didn't try to do everything herself or um, bring everybody and say, okay, now you're my staff, stay here, I'll be paying you. No, she didn't do that. She was able to find teams that she could outsource her stuff to, and this helped to create a modular team that was able to deliver on huge task, right? So, action step for you this week is to build your vetted partner roster, and I'll explain what that means. This week, create a list of 3 external partners you can use and use and use all over again. So, if you don't need to have a pattern drafter in your company, you don't need to find a pattern drafter that you can work with again and again, right? If you don't need a content creator in your company that you're paying salary every month, you can find content creators that are not part of your business, but this is what they do generally, and they can, do it for you over and over again, right? Stylist, creative director. So, who are these people that you know you need within your team, but you know that you probably don't have enough resources to, manage all of them? Is there a way find them somewhere else and, you know, get them on board, working with them as freelancers, not part of your team. So find these people, reach out to them, build relationships with them, negotiate with rates, right? Okay, how can we work together and how can you be my person from now till, I don't know, 6 months, 1 year? Look at how you can interact like that, you know. So yeah, let's talk about the part that uh, more like the strategy of Hanifa. And this is a part 4, right? It's called Faith as Strategy. So if you watch a lot of Hanifa's interviews and all of that, you see that she's a strong person of faith. She is very bold about her faith, and she always talks about her faith, right? So, apart from the fact that she was convinced about her faith and all of that, Anifa talks about it a lot. And um, I know a lot of people may say, well, faith doesn't pay bills. Well, that's true, but faith as a decision can be a filter for you. And faith gave Anifa brand discipline, right? Um, she was able to, because of her faith, because of her convictions, there were some partnerships that did not align with her brand. And so she said no to them immediately without even thinking about it, because she didn't want to dilute her brand. And what this did for her is it increased the perceived value of that brand. So faith shouldn't be an abstract thing, right? It should be strategic. It should control every area of your life in such a way that you're able to make decisions based on that without compromising what your core beliefs and your convictions are. So my step for you today is define what your brand's non-negotiables are. Like write them down, write them down somewhere, and just say these are 3 things I will not compromise on. So, for example, you can say I would never compromise on the kind of fabrics I use. Maybe you don't like synthetic fabrics because they are probably not good for the environment. And you say, I want my brand to be a sustainable brand, and so I don't want use stuff that will be harmful to the environment, and so I'm not going to use synthetic fabric. Another thing is we'll never rush. If we can such a period of time, we will never rush. We would always be truthful to our clients. Another thing could be, okay, I will never underprice my competence. This is our price list, and no matter the desperation, we will not go below this. These are things you can put in place, and then make it visible so that when you're under pressure, you will see it and it will protect your brand's integrity. And in fact, you'll be able to share with every member of your team or people who work with you. And this way, you're able to build a very strong brand equity because, your audience know you and they know that, okay, this is who they are. And, they're able to stick with you through thick and thin. All right. Wow, it's been a long one, right? Not very long, but yeah, it's been a long ride. So now let's wrap it, right? Before we wrap it, um, I would just like to ask you some very personal questions, right? Um, what personal story do you have that you have been afraid to tell that you think is not powerful enough, right? Just think about it and write it down somewhere. What story about my brand, about myself that I've just been avoiding to tell that I think it's not powerful enough. Write it somewhere. Another question you can ask yourself is, what systems have I been avoiding, you know, because I think it feels overwhelming? So, for example, is it the pricing structure? Like, are you just okay? Let me gauge the person and see, can this person pay this, and then use that to join? Like, what is your pricing structure? Is it a content calendar? Like, you cannot just wrap your head around sitting down to create a content calendar because you probably feel like it's overwhelming. A production process, you know, these are systems that would help you run smoothly. But if you think they are overwhelming, you never get to sit down to get them done. So think about it and write it down. You know what? Face your fears. Face the overwhelming stuff. Okay, without fear. Now, another thing finally I would ask you is, um, what bold move can you make this month that will increase visibility without compromising your authenticity? This is another powerful question I need you to think about. Okay, this month, how can I get to people's faces without compromising my authenticity? So, if you'd like to drop anything in the comment section, we're wrapping up right now. Do that. But um, yeah, so as we wrap up, I want you to know that again and again, talent will always open doors for you. You see talented people, maybe they just sat one time on Instagram and then the whole world, focuses on them. Oh, wow, this is a genius. And then in, I don't know, few months, you don't hear anything about them again. Why? There's no structure. Okay, so talents will always open doors for you, but you see that thing called structure, it will always keep the doors open. Okay, so visibility always attracts people to you. It's a no-brainer, but purpose will keep them watching you. So if you're able to sing the first time or create a 3D powerful fashion show and the whole world starts talking about it, wisdom will be to create a structure that will help people to keep coming back to see, okay, what are they up to? What are they up to? Else, one time wonder, you know. So, going back to Hanifa, brand with decoding, Hanifa did not just create beautiful clothes, she built a system that could sustain the beauty of the beautiful clothes that she has made, right? And that is what separates, a one-time wonder from, um, you know, a business that lasts. So, um, finally, guys, thank you so much for joining me today on Fashion Brand Decoded by Fashfied. Um, Recap of the 5 action steps we're going to do this week. First is to define your brand's mission in one sentence. Remember, I create for dash because dash. Make that vision clear, make that mission clear and follow through to the letter. Second, plan one bold visibility moment this month. Get to our faces. We can't wait to see. We can't wait to see. So plan one thing that's gonna blow us in the internet. We are ready. We are here for you. We are ready. Okay. Thirdly, introduce pre-orders or capsule collections. Right? Don't just create a full collection and then keep praying. In Nigeria, we say depending on vibes and inshallah. Right? So create something and look at the market. What are they responding to more? What are they not paying attention to? And then know where to double down on, and etc. And then the fourth one is build your partner roster, brands or people you need in your business, but you cannot afford to hire them to be part of your business. right? They're still very valuable, but you cannot afford to bring them in. Find 3 of those people and let them get working for you. For us at Fashfied Studios, everything about content we currently work with creatives who have problems with content. They don't even want to think about content. They don't want to think about brand strategy. They don't want to think about marketing and all of that. Don't worry, we're here for you. Okay, we can help you tighten those doors and get you out there, right? And then finally, define your brand's 3 non-negotiables, right? Something you know that with this brand, it is either we do it or we don't do it. And then that is where we come to the end of today's edition of Fashion Brand Decoded by Fashfied. Join me next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. West African time here on YouTube. And please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and join the Fashion Fashfied Circle. You know, it's a place where we offer a lot of value to our people, um, and we're building the next generation of African fashion brands that are not just creating beautiful clothes, but they are creating to last. Okay, so with that said, have a fantastic week and go build something that lasts. We're waiting for you.